Our dish today will be Mussakhan rolls. Traditionally, Mussakhan is not made into rolls, but this is still a super yummy way to make it. And it works great as a main dish with some salad next to it, or as a side dish if you have a big party. It also works great as finger food. You can enjoy it in multiple ways, so let's get started. We will go over the ingredients first. You will need 3 pounds of chicken breast, and please feel free to halve this recipe if you think it's too much. You will also need 2 cups of extra virgin olive oil and about 9 medium onions. If the onions are large, you can use 6 onions. For the spices, you will need a 1/4 cup of sumac, 1 teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1 teaspoon of coriander, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 2 teaspoons of salt. And the last thing we need is some lavash bread, which can also be replaced with tortillas if you can't find lavash. Okay, and now let's get started on the cooking process. Place your chicken breast in a pot and completely cover it with water. Over high heat, bring it to a boil and then lower the heat and let it cook for 40 minutes. In the meanwhile, while the chicken is cooking, let's work on the onions. Cut each onion in half and slice into wedges, and place all the sliced onion into a saucepan. Pour 2 cups of olive oil over it. Place it on your stove over a medium heat and cook it for approximately 20 minutes. The onions will need to cook down and completely soften before we can use them. Stir the onions occasionally while they are cooking, and here you can see the final product of what the onions should look like. Once the chicken is done, you can pull it out of the pot, discard all the liquid, let it cool, then shred it. Then add the chicken to the onions and mix very well. Once completely mixed, you can go ahead and add the sumac and the rest of the spices. Over medium heat, simmer all the ingredients together for approximately 5 minutes, just so the spices can blend really well and the chicken can get all the flavor and the aroma from the spices and the onions. To assemble, we will need a baking tray, and we will need to cut the lavash into smaller strips. We take a brush and we brush some of the olive oil that's on the chicken onto our baking pan so it doesn't stick. Take a piece of lavash, place some chicken at the edge of the lavash and roll like you see in the videos. And like we said, you can either use tortillas or phyllo dough in this step if you can't find lavash in your local market. This is what our tray will look like once we are done making all the rolls and placing them next to each other on our baking tray. Preheat your oven to 450 degrees, and while the oven is heating, go ahead and take a pastry brush and take some of the olive oil left on the bottom of the pan and brush each roll with it. Bake the rolls for 10 minutes, and this is what they will look like when they are ready. They are going to be super yummy and just a little crunchy. For more details, find the recipe in the description box. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.